All right, President Trump tightening the deadline to agree to his terms regarding a nuclear deal. He warns that otherwise, quote, bad things will happen if Iran doesn't make a deal. This comes as the U.S. is building up its military presence in the region, which will soon include 2 aircraft carrier strike groups. One's already there, one's on the way. And it is an armada, as you know, the president has called it, because it's huge. Senior White House correspondent Jacqui Heinrich. Jackie.
Harris, for days now, U.S. officials have been saying that Iran is ignoring U.S. red lines on nuclear enrichment, floating some unserious proposals to keep these talks going. President Trump has said in no uncertain terms that the U.S. will accept nothing less than zero nuclear enrichment. But now Iran is saying nobody has said that.
The U.S. side has not asked for zero enrichment. What we are now talking about is how to make sure that Iran's nuclear program, including enrichment, is peaceful and would remain peaceful forever.
That's not what President Trump said last week or what top officials say his negotiating team has been saying all along in these talks.
Would you accept anything less than zero nuclear enrichment?
We don't want any enrichment. We don't want enrichment.
Look, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Secretary Rubio have been very clear. All enriched, highly enriched uranium. There is no reason to have it enriched at 60 and 90% unless you intend to build a weapon.
So zero enrichment.
President Trump told reporters yesterday Iran has a very short window to agree to a deal, about 10 to 15 days, amid new claims from a prominent Iranian opposition figure that Iran is preparing for war and rebuilding its nuclear sites despite engaging in these talks with the U.S. The gridlock has President Trump considering a limited initial strike to force Iran into a deal. He confirmed it last hour. The Wall Street Journal described it like this, quote, the opening assault, which if authorized could come within days, would target a few military or government sites, people familiar with the matter said. If Iran still refused to comply with Trump's directive to end its nuclear enrichment, the U.S. would respond with a broad campaign against regime facilities, potentially aimed at toppling the Tehran regime. Within days, the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, will be in position. As of last night, it had reached the Strait of Gibraltar. Meantime, Iran has issued a fresh threat to the U.S., saying it will reciprocate the language of force. Harris.
Look, not to make too much more of what we don't know what happened during the meeting between Iran and Russia, but we do know that Russia buzzed the tower, if you will, not literally, but the coastline of Alaska with 5 fighter jets overnight, and they had to get a U.S. Air Force escort out. NORAD was engaged, the whole bit. And they do that sometimes, but the timing on that is interesting. Have we learned any more about that? Are you hearing anything out of the White House?
Not from the White House specifically, but a Kremlin spokesman issued a statement urging all parties to exercise restraint, and also said that Iran and Russia continue to sort of deepen their handshake together. So ironic that Russia is calling for restraint in this, of course.
They sent their fighter jets. OK. And I call it hand-holding, what was going on between those two countries, because they're both like in need of each other, apparently, right now, with that armada parked outside of Iran. Jackie, great reporting as always. Thank you.